You've been waiting for it, right? Well, let's hear the halving. It's upon us in the Bitcoin community. Let's just say they're champing at the bit. And why not? Take a look at that. I think this will be the fourth run, right? The prior three all saw strong rallies over the next 12 to 18 months. Let's
Priced in, so I think we can expect short-term volatility
Right.
as usual, but long-term the price has been trending up, and we've actually never seen a new all-time high in a cycle prior to the next halving. So things could get a little spicy here.
We've got them on the chart here. I mean, so it's amazing. The first one, I mean, it's just absolutely. It's hard not to be enticed by what we're seeing here. Again, over a certain period of time.
Yeah, the logarithmic chart is always really expressive of the fact that Bitcoin is just going up in one direction. But, a lot of people can get kind of confused. What is the halving? Because we've never had an asset that has this baked in reduction in the incoming supply, regardless of the demand. But I really think it demonstrates the elegance of this programmatic monetary policy that really is an elegant set of rules with no rulers that we all engage in and participate
Right.
in voluntarily. No one's imposing this on us.
Right.
Bitcoin is chosen by us, the people.
And this is one of the core value propositions of it, right? But
It's the fast money that's selling in and out of Bitcoin and creating this short term volatility. The smart money and the permanent capital is seeking shelter in Bitcoin, and more investors are going to see it as this flight to safety, including when things get more and more uncertain and chaotic around us, because Bitcoin is the one thing that is actually certain and predictable. The halving is just another example of that. It decouples the power to manipulate money from the state,
Right.
and it allows all of us to be in a fair competition so that real value can come to the surface.
Gold's probably going to close at a new record high close today. It's only a few dollars off it now, above 23.70. Gold is rising because the dollar, the euro, the yen, fiat currencies are losing value. Inflation is real. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere near the Fed's 2% target. We're headed in the wrong direction. We'll probably be in double digits by next year. And eventually, the first digit isn't going to be a 1. Central banks are out in front of this. They're the main buyers.
Right.
A lot of Americans have been foolishly selling their gold to buy these Bitcoin ETFs. There's nothing elegant about losing your money in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going up. In fact, Bitcoin peaked 2.5 years ago at about 37 ounces of gold. As we speak now, it's worth less than 27 ounces. That's a 27% decline in 2.5 years. This is a bear market.
Right.
Bitcoin is going much lower than this. If Natalie were smart, as soon as this segment is over, she would sell all of her Bitcoin. Because if she doesn't sell it now, she's going to sell it later at a much lower price.
All right.
The need to constantly attack gold because we're not threatened by gold. And the reason that we have this failed fiat experiment that has impoverished our nation is because of the defects of gold. The fact that it's not easily portable, it's not easily verifiable, it doesn't offer instant final global settlement. And so, you know what? Centralized authorities hijacked it, they papered over it, and we have a system of leverage and rehypothecation that hurts the working class. Bitcoin is immune to all of that. It is the savings account for billions of people that we really need and can most rely on, and it offers that final global settlement that we need. And so gold is the analog version of sound money, but Bitcoin is the digital version, and that's why it's going to be the faster horse in this race.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And I tell you every day, make sure you're paying attention to the actual indicators. We had the repo come out at $327 billion, and we saw yield rates rise. And of course, the dollar rising, so we had crypto and stocks pull back. And the Fed stated they was going to be shrinking liquidity. Even though we have these high rates for longer, they just was going to slow it up, but they're going to shrink liquidity. But this is an election year, and they're just going to let it slow leak on out until we get close to that voting time, and then they're going to pull the rug. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And guys, we have Peter Schiff, the gold bug, says sell your Bitcoin. And we know we're not going to get the whole truth when it comes to television. Mainstream television, they're only going to give you half the truth. We know Peter Schiff knows all about the fourth industrial revolution and the machines rising. But they're not going to give you the whole truth. And that's the reason why Bitcoin is going to be so important. Yes, if we were going to stay in this same economy, Peter Schiff would be totally correct. But unfortunately, we're going to a tokenized world. where everything's going to be tokenized, put on blockchain. And that's the reason why these digital assets are going to be integrated into the legacy market. Now, we also hear in the media that Bitcoin is going to be the savior. Guys, we know the government was behind Bitcoin from the beginning, and we know these big corporations were funding crypto from the beginning. You know, I proved it time and time again. But as yields rise, we're going to have stocks and cryptos keep pumping and dumping, and we see the CEOs are giving us a signal. They're selling their shares at the top, so therefore they can ride off in the sun. And we have Tesla is keeping them coming. More layoffs. And remember I stated, guys, 10% here, 5% here, 20% there. And we have all the major tech companies doing the same thing because they know the robots, algorithms, and drones are about to take over the economy. Pay each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
There's nothing sound about Bitcoin. It's losing the race right now. Take a look at your screen. Gold is up $25, $26, and Bitcoin is getting clobbered. You know, there is no flaw in gold. Gold worked great for 5,000 years. The problem is the flaw is with governments. The flaw is with human beings, not with gold. But Bitcoin is really flawed because it doesn't have any actual value. Gold is the most useful metal on the periodic table. That's why it's money. Now, it has great characteristics that make it better money than other commodities, but absent its intrinsic value, it couldn't be money. And Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's just a digital string of numbers. And all of this is just a bunch of hype.
Anything could be money, right? On the island of Yap, they used to have big stone money. Anything could be money if people use it as an exchange. And this is the thing.
But that's because
But here's the thing, though. You have to admit, Bitcoin is on the rise. Wall Street has embraced it. And this is just a tiny speck. I mean, could you imagine, Peter, at the rate of recognition, if Bitcoin keeps going at this rate, it's hard to deny it could go substantially higher.
Now, I just told you it's been dropping for 2.5 years. That's when it made its peak.
High recently.
And I think that decline is going to accelerate. It does not keep going up. They suckered in a bunch of people. Wall Street didn't embrace it. They're just trying to make a buck off it. I mean, these big Wall Street firms aren't buying any Bitcoin with their own money. This is their customers' money that are dumb enough to buy it. They're just booking the bets. They're operating the casino. They're not at the blackjack tables or the roulette wheels. That's their customers that are doing that.
Natalie wants to jump back in.
You know, if you look at the short term, Bitcoin is going to be volatile. But if we zoom out, Bitcoin has outperformed gold. In fact, when Hamas attacked Israel, since then, Bitcoin is up 125% and gold is up only 27%. So let's really look at the numbers that we're seeing. And the best thing about Bitcoin is, again, no one controls the ledger, whereas gold is really vulnerable to centralization and top down control, which is why we need a system that is a neutral place to store your wealth. We need a neutral system and protocol.
Don't even compare.
That is Bitcoin
Peter,
for the digital world.
Own
Bitcoin.
Both? Why can't someone have exposure to both?
Yeah, well, first of all, Bitcoin has outperformed everything. So don't compare it to gold. It's outperformed stocks, real estate, bonds, collectibles. That's because it's a gigantic bubble. No, if you want to own Bitcoin, I don't care. If you want to lose money in Bitcoin, go right ahead. Doesn't bother me. But I'm trying to help give people advice as to what to do with their money. And if they want to have an investment portfolio, Bitcoin has no part in it. But, you know, if you like gambling, if you want to take some of the money that we're going to take to the racetracks or buy lottery tickets with or go to Vegas, if you want to take some of that money and gamble on Bitcoin or any of the other 20,000 cryptocurrencies that are out there, go right ahead. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I don't want to buy any Bitcoin. I mean, sure, had I bought Bitcoin years and years ago when I first learned about it, yeah, I could have made a lot of money selling it now to the greater fools, but I didn't do that.
That's something
but
he
I'm not
said
going
on
to
my
make the
show. He
mistake
wishes
of
he
buying
bought
it now.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. So Natalie, bottom line though,
But I'm not going to buy it now. And Natalie, you're going to wish you sold Bitcoin. Mark my words.
All right.
You're going to be ruining the day.
We take all of this stuff,
If
Peter.
I'd only sold my Bitcoin, I'd have had a lot of money.
I think the American dream has really been hijacked. We tried gold. It didn't work. It was papered over. That system has failed the American people, and Bitcoin does provide hope for us, the working class. We want to be able to work for something that has to be measured by a free market so that we can see real value emerge, as opposed to being captured by politics and bureaucracy, which ultimately is a system that benefits the few at the expense of everyone else. And it's a system in which the politically connected and the special interest groups really are at the top. And so we need a system that is for the people. Bitcoin is for the people.
David, these are significant cuts that Tesla is announcing. A memo sent out by Elon Musk to the staff outlining that the company will be cutting more than 10% of its global staff. They ended last year with about 140,000 employees worldwide, so approximately 14,000 workers will be let go. In the memo that was sent out from Elon Musk, he says, "There is nothing I hate more, but it must be done. This will enable us to be lean, innovative, and hungry for the next growth phase cycle." Is this the first of many job cuts that we're going to see, or is this a case where Elon's moving as quickly as possible to say, look, we have to downsize, we have to shore up as much as possible as we go through this period here where deliveries will be down, where there is just a tighter market overall for EVs, and where the pricing war shows no sign of ending?
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told his members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will. During that auction that we saw a little bit before, the attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction; it was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.